Welcome into the CHGO White Sox postgame show, coming to you live from the west side of Chicago, from our CHGO offices here in Studio A. I went the different route with my intro, and it's completely throwing me off. Welcome in. We are coming to you live after the White Sox win 12-2 against the New York Yankees in a miraculous win in probably the most shocking upset since the 1980s Winter Olympics, maybe even all the way back to David versus Goliath. I mean, this is 2,000 years in the making. The sub-30 win White Sox defeat the vaunted New York Yankees 12-2, an ass kicking. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel, and we'll be following the chat all throughout the show. That's Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
I'm Sean Anderson, being produced today by Sarah.
Hello.
Hello. And Vinnie Duber will be joining us from Guaranteed Rate Field. Herb, how you feeling?
Feeling good. I mean, you were just talking about kind of tongue-in-cheek about big upsets, but yeah, they have Luis Gil going on the bump today. He had struck the White Sox out for a career high or season high because he's a rookie, 14 strikeouts earlier this year in Yankee Stadium. The White Sox threw out a lineup that was the worst lineup I've seen. No Luis Robert Jr., even though he's struggling. No Miguel Vargas, even though he's struggling. And you got a bunch of people who have a below 700 OPS just batter the Yankees. And then you throw out a guy in Kai Busch making his second ever start in the major leagues. And you're like, all right, the best record in baseball tied with the Orioles before today's game, the Yankees, versus the worst record in baseball, the White Sox. Of course, 12-2 White Sox.
I think you're mispronouncing his name.
Gil?
No, Kai Busch.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's his name.
Is it
El Duque.
Okay, my
Right.
bad.
Yeah, come on.
It does autocorrect, as Jackie
Right.
says. It does autocorrect to
El
Duque.
Duque. You look at what Kai Busch did. It is ugly. Sarah, if you want to flash the picture graphic, it's not nice for Kai Busch. Obviously, we're happy with the 12-2 finish. 4 2/3 for Kai Busch. 6 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 7 walks, 2 strikeouts, 97 pitches. Hey, if you're going to be giving up 13 base runners and only 2 earned runs, we will take it. Luis Gil, you were right on that. 4 innings, 4 earned runs, 7 hits, 3 Ks, and 2 walks for the young Yankees starter. But with Busch, the first inning, he gets the bases loaded, pitches around that. Or was it? No. First inning, it was second and third, pitches around that. Second inning, it was, I think, bases loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Third inning, it was first and second, and then the fourth inning, it was bases loaded. I mean, the first 4 innings, he just had to deal and battle and didn't look good at any point.
No.
But he got through it. So you live and you learn, Kai Busch.
Yeah, and it wasn't like terrible hitters. I think he gave up a double to Aaron Judge early in the game, which scored the first run for the Yankees. And then I think it was no routes with Judge and Soto at second and third. So you're going against Stanton. You're going against, I think, Wells. And then their 6-hitter, and he gets them all to pop up weekly. And it's a testament to him. He gave up 13 base runners. I think 14 because they intentionally walked.
Yeah, right.
Intentionally walked Judge, which is smart with a base open at first. I'm going to ask Vinny a little bit later, but that game plan, I love that. You see a player on the other side of the field that you don't want to beat you. And if the other players on the field, if Stanton would have hit a bunch of home runs today because you kept on walking Judge, God bless. But you don't go against their best player when you have a chance to put him on first instead. So I love the strategy by Grady Sizemore executing today. Even though our guy Kai Busch wasn't good at all, he got outs. The results were favorable. The process was very flawed. That's a terrible outing that turned into gold.
Yeah, and I think it's a little tough because, I mean, you bring up, like, you don't want to walk their best player. I forget what exactly you said. But it's like it's even a different conversation with him because it's not he's just the best player on the Yankees. He's Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
I mean, he is 6'7", 260, runs like a 4.5 40, is got the plate discipline of Stan Musial. Like, he is arguably top 3, or not even arguably. He is a top 3 hitter in baseball.
Correct.
Ohtani, Bobby Witt, Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts.
Yeah,
Mookie Betts when
Mookie's
healthy.
coming back today, yeah.
And hit a homer in his second at bat.
But of course.
He's Mookie Betts. But, easily Aaron Judge is a top 3 hitter. It's just those guys need to be in a different consideration. Even when we're talking about Byron Buxton owning this team, he's in a completely different conversation than Aaron Judge. So I don't care what the situation is outside of bases loaded. And even then, we've seen Barry Bonds get walked in the base with a situation with bases loaded. If you're talking about, trying to win the game, 9th inning, you're up 2 runs, Judge is at the plate, and so Stanton's next. Hey, you could take that run. I'll face Stanton. I'm glad to see the White Sox have sense.
Yes.
It seems like Pedro Grifol would just go after him and let the guys compete, because it feels like a sin to not let guys compete, but it's not smart to have guys, especially like Kai Busch, compete with Aaron Judge. Now, Herb Lawrence. It is very smart to let Touki Toussaint compete with Aaron Judge, because mercy, he got him.
He did, but he threw a splitter. I think it was 1-2 count. He threw a splitter like middle up.
Yeah, middle in.
And it was the fattest pitch I've ever seen in my life. And Aaron Judge probably was surprised how fat that pitch was, 85 miles per hour. He just fouled it back. And it should have been on the Dan Ryan.
Right.
But Touki Toussaint is like, hey, I made a mistake. You didn't crush it. So here's a splitter off the plate, and you're going to flail at it. Enjoy yourself.
And I didn't want to make this too much of a conversation point just yet, because I'm excited to talk about Kai Busch. But there's a lot of Grady Sizemore talk in the chat. Mailman Jack saying, Grady Sizemore and seeing Sean's thighs, it's a great night.
So some people like your thighs, some people don't.
And I'm glad Mailman Jack does. He's a mailman. This man,
he knows about
crafts his thighs each and every day as he serves the American people, delivering mail. And he's got toned legs, calves, thighs. That's an American man who knows legs. All right. So I'll take that. But Jason says Grady's boys don't quit. Evan, Sarah, if you could scroll up just a little bit to David, who says the White Sox almost beat the Cubs twice. I noticed a difference with the team that series. Both hitters and pitchers up their game. And Mailman Jack also saying he chugged a Liney original for G-Size. So we appreciate that. I am really having a tough time getting super pumped up about Grady Sizemore. I think there's things that he's done that I've liked. I don't really have any negative thoughts on him outside of the team that he is managing. It is tough to feel positive about a team that has less than 30 wins. I think he definitely seems a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
And I think that's rubbing off on the players a little bit. But how much of it is a dead cat bounce, right? Like, I understand, guys, that it's fun to see this spark, but you've seen this spark with teams from 1962. You look at the Mets that lost 120 games. There's a game on April 23rd. They're going up against arguably the National League's best team at the time, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who were undefeated, 10-0. The New York Mets had not won a game. They were 0-9, and they went in and won 9-1 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, like, there's a game that's kind of similar to this, like a team that struggles, and they go out and whoop a team that's much better than them. You also have the Mets that year, June 29th, 10 runs to the Dodgers, 4 runs. The Dodgers were 50-29. The Mets were 50-22. Or 20-52, I'm sorry. And then there was another one, July 6, 1962. The 45-37 Cardinals lost 10-3 to the 22-57 Mets. And not only did they lose, the Mets hung most of those in the 8th inning. They scored 6 runs in the 8th inning. So a little bit of insurance there, as it was only 4-3 going into the 8th. So they, gave themselves a little space. I'm just saying, it's baseball. And we should have expected something like this from this team at some point, even though they're so bad. I mean, even when they're playing Oakland, or even when they're playing some of these terrible teams, we have not seen any life like this. This is the first time the White Sox have scored more than 12 runs since May 29th, 2023. Herb, do you want to read off that lineup with me?
Today's lineup or the May 29th one?
The May 29th one, where they played the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
Sorry, May 26th, where they played the Detroit Tigers. White Sox sluggers Vaughn and Moncada rough up the Tigers early in a 12-3 rout. Anderson led off playing shortstop, who went 4 for 5. Benintendi was batting second. He went 2 for 5 in left field. Robert went 0 for 3 in center field. Moncada went 3 for 5 at third base. Vaughn went 2 for 5 at first base. Grandal was the catcher. He went 1 for 5. Berger, the DH, went 2 for 5. Clint Frazier, old friend, in right field, went 2 for 5. And then Hanser Alberto went 1 for 5. Lance Lynn was the start, and he was relieved by Middleton, Reynaldo Lopez, and Jimmy Lambert. So it's been a very, very long time, and I understand being excited because it's been basically a Dasani in a desert, basically. You finally get the oasis, but I just think it's more desert coming up. And I think most likely, logically, people know that, but hey, it's fun to have one moment where, you don't have to think about tomorrow or yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm not going to front to act like winning is not good no matter what, but winning versus the Yankees in particular, man, it's one of the best feelings. Like, I don't hate the Yankees like I hate the Twins or the Royals, but it's up there. And so beating the Yankees and thinking about tomorrow on WFAN and all the callers asking for Aaron Boone's job, all the things that are going to happen. Hey, this is Mike from Bensonhurst. What the hell is this team losing to the worst team, the White Sox? You see what I did there? White Sox? They're not the Sox. They're the Sox. Oh, my God. There's going to be so much vitriol tomorrow on the airways of WFAN because your White Sox beat Aaron Boone's Yankees. It just feels like heaven.
I feel like I'm fitting in. Jackie's saying, Sean, why do you hate joy? So there you go. I should be calling in from, I can't think of any. Would you say Brentonhurst? Bensonhurst. You made that up.
That's a real place. It's a neighborhood, I think, in the Bronx or something like that.
Sean calling in from Yonkers.
There it is.
There you go. All right. I don't know. I mean, again, Jerry Reinsdorf killed my the part of my brain that it can process joy. I think that's what it is. So hey, people are happy for the win. So I'll try not to mush this.
And also, it's like I'll ask Vinny this because he has some video I think he sent in to us about Grady Sizemore in the post game. Just if Vinny, just anecdotally, in the 3 games that he's seen managed in the clubhouse by Grady Sizemore, is there something different necessarily in that clubhouse that he can tangibly see or hear from Grady Sizemore than it was from Pedro Grifol? I don't know. Like, as you said, I think all this is a dead cat bounce, and maybe they won't be as bad as they were under Pedro Grifol, but I think they'll still be bad, and I think they'll still set the record for most losses in a regular season. So
they still have a losing record under Sizemore.
They do. I liked how they played versus the Cubs. That first game, we talked about it on our show on Saturday. The first game on Friday, losing 7-0, coming back, losing 7-6. Hey, it's a good fight. And then losing on Saturday, a little less. It was 3-1. I think the Cubs won that game by a little less fight, but they battled. Today, just absolutely demolished the Yankees, which I didn't expect with all the circumstances that were in front of the White Sox, including the Yankees being the best team in baseball. I did not see this coming at all.
Truly. Tomorrow, as David Snyder asked, can the White Sox beat the Yankees again? Tomorrow, it's Jonathan Cannon versus Nestor Cortez. Wednesday, Davis Martin gets to start for the Sox, and no pitcher is listed for the Yankees.
I think that guy's going to throw a no-hitter.
Probably. They're going to dig up, who's Andy Hawkins?
He's still alive, I think.
Okay. Jason's $5 super chat. Jokes aside, I need Grady not to win too much. I don't need Jerry hiring him and saying, let's give him 3 seasons to see what happens at a cheap cost. But here's the thing, Jason. What if you do want him to hire Grady Sizemore? What if he does keep winning and Grady Sizemore's beautiful complexion and face wins you over? I'm just saying.
I mean, he is a good-looking cat.
I'm just saying. And hey, if you look at his playing career, his first 5 years, he's compared to Duke Snyder and Barry Bonds. So, I mean, we got like the Joe Torre and Casey Stengel.
Don't say that name.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Jerry's watching. He's like, he's like Casey Stengel, man. Well, I am going to hire that sumbitch.
Like Casey Stengel managed the 62 Mets. So that's why I figured, if it fits in because, history. All right, we're going to take a break. We are going to have some Grady Sizemore video for you. I believe there's also some Gavin Sheets video from Vinnie Duber, and then Vinnie Duber will be joining us from Guaranteed Rate Field. Happy to see 28 likes for the legend, Leary Garcia. We got 72 watching, though, so make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And I think I saw Derek mention that he's a diehard. We do have some new diehards like Derek, Charlie, Eli, Luke, Ross, Seth, Brian, Andy, Jameson, Colin, and Matt. So we are very excited for them to be joining the CHGO. I don't know about if it's Jameson. It's spelled differently. It's not J-Mo. like Jame-O. It's like, I think Jameson whiskey.
I know we got to get to break, but do you know that Justin Jershely has the number 28 now?
They didn't retire that?
No, I don't know
should.
why. And also, why do managers and or coaches have numbers still? It's dumb.
Why not?
Because they're not playing.
But they have a uniform.
It's fine. You just have nothing in the uniform or just a name in the back. You're not playing.
Make them feel a part of the team.
Grady Sizemore, 24.
I'd want a number. All right, let's take a break. Who's 24 right now?
Grady.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he just took the number.
All right, good for him. All right, let's take a break. We'll let you know about our friends over at Circa Sportsbook. Circa is your place for tight money line splits and a low hold model. Games will strive to meet a -110 split on the Circa Sports menu, unlike other sportsbooks menu, which may use a -115 or -120 split. Circa keeps as little money as possible on large market bets like futures, golf tournaments, more, especially compared to other books, and their high app limits and transparency does not frustrate you. Circa does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. They encourage bettors to download and explore all sports betting apps available so you can compare the lines from each sportsbook and see why the world's largest sportsbook, Circa Sportsbook, has the best lines for you to wager on most of, if not all, the time. And their customer service is unbeat. There are real people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in timely fashion, unlike other books who use chatbots. So go download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app. That's circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. If you or somebody you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537. Text GMB to 833-234 or visit areyourreallywinning.com. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Shady Rays. Herbs is going to get the props. I have mine on. They match my style. They blend in with the black hat, the black shirt, the black shorts. Come on, folks. I was always a person that would go to the Walgreens, the CVS, and pick out the goofiest looking shades from the carousel. Not anymore. I go to Shady Rays. Shady Rays, first of all, has a fantastic deal that we'll tell you about in a second, but get ready for the season ahead with Shady Rays. Their quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with the most premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. They're an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people, and their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Vinnie Duber is our CHGO White Sox beat writer, and he is joining us live from Guaranteed Rate Field. But Vinnie, even though you are in the box, like Alice Chains foretold, we are just going to use your video and listen to Grady Sizemore, and then we'll talk to you. Okay? Cool.
Please.
All right. Sarah, why don't you play Grady Sizemore talking to the media after tonight's win?
Normally, managers shower after they talk to the
Oh, yeah, normally, yeah.
How much fun was that?
It was amazing. I so much fun. I mean, these last 3 games, just so proud of these guys. The way they played, the energy, just everything. I know, like, I keep saying the same thing, but I just couldn't be happier for the guys, and just what a great win. You know, a great game played all around, all sides of the ball. Just, you know, so proud of them.
What does it mean to do this against the Yankees?
You know, I just, like I said, I'm glad they've just been showing up. You know, we're coming to play. They're playing hard. They're battling. You know, it was just a great team effort.
So what they dump on you?
I got a little bit of everything. You know, everything from protein shakes to I think I tasted some beer, maybe some Gatorade. I don't know. A little bit.
Some shaving cream?
Yeah, maybe some cream. Like, I got a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Grady, how did Ty Bush navigate those?
Oh, man, I don't know how he did it. I mean, I couldn't do anything but smile after he came off those last couple innings. Yeah, I think, you know, he was having a hard time throwing strikes, but just battled. You know, it's a great effort from the kid. You know, he hung in there. You know, he kept his composure, made some big pitches when he needed to, but, yeah, just exciting win.
Does that show you something? I mean, second major league start, he's facing Aaron Judge with the
Yeah, it can't be easy. Yeah, I know it's a tough lineup to navigate, and he did a great job of just staying composed and making big pitches, and yeah, it was tight there. You know, it was after that second inning, I was like, I don't know if I can handle 7 more of those.
Offense hasn't had many nights like this season. What do you attribute to?
I mean, just they've been having great at bats. They've been battling, just showing a lot there. I think they're playing together. They're feeding off each other, and they just keep competing. Yeah, do great at bats. You know, great job just all around.
The one play that didn't produce an out might have been the best play of the night, and the Lopez throw home on the base hit. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
I mean, like I said, they've just been so sharp and playing like just lights out. Like I can't say enough just how just the energy, the effort level, just the execution has been great over these last 2 games.
Are you superstitious? Will you be wearing that shirt until you lose?
This might take a few days to wash, but no, I'm not superstitious. Yeah, maybe when I played, but right now I'm just doing what I can to get these guys in a good position.
We've asked you a lot about comparables. How does the first managerial one compare to like the first hit or the first home run for you as a player?
Right now, this feels better than anything right now. I think just because it's such a team effort. You know, I really I love those guys. Just the way they've been working all year. They've been fighting. And it's such a team effort tonight. I just couldn't be happier for them. Definitely, you know, more animated and more happy, and just rooting those guys on than I ever was for myself. So, you know, this is the top right now.
You talked to Aaron before the game. Did he give you any little words of encouragement?
You know, it was just catching up. You know, I've known Aaron for a while. You know, played with him and you know, respect him a lot. You know, he was a great guy that I gravitated towards. He just wished me luck and said if I need anything, just to holler. You know, but just kept it short.
What did it mean to have your bullpen do the work and be able to get out of any type of jam?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they've been great. They've been everyone's been dialed in. You know, they're pitching great. They're getting big outs and tough situations. So I mean, they're picking up our starters. So it's been a team effort, like on all sides of the ball.
That's White Sox interim manager Grady Sizemore after his first managerial win. Vinnie Duber, there seems to be a certain poise around Grady Sizemore. It seems like it's not too big of a spotlight to be answering questions from the media post-game. It's almost like he's been there before. Do you get that same poise or presence from him?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it was funny in the pregame today. He was talking about how much he didn't like talking to the media when he was a player, and how he, you know, really kind of loathed that part of the job. But now here he is as a manager, and he kind of feels at ease because he doesn't have to talk about himself. He can talk about his team and the guys that he's out there managing. But I think the main thing that I take away is maybe not the been there before attitude, but the nothing to lose attitude a little bit. You know, I mean, this is a guy who doesn't have the pressure of, you know, being a manager with expectations, right? He's managing at the tail end here of a season in which the White Sox have lost so many games that they might end up losing the most games ever. But it's not going to be on him, right? I mean, he's just the guy that was kind of thrown in there at the end. He said today before the game started that he doesn't know if he's ever going to be doing this again, so he's going to manage every game like it's the World Series and just kind of let it roll. And, you know, we've already gotten a little bit of that in some of the comments he's made, too. We obviously talked a lot on Saturday about what he said about Luis Robert Jr. And you know, kind of being upfront about thinking that his confidence might be hit a little bit, you know, and there have been other examples of that as well. Today, pregame, he was asked, you know, how he's going to approach Aaron Judge, and you know, the idea of would you intentionally walk him, is that fair to the fans who show up to see him? And he's basically like, yeah, I don't care, we're trying to win. So, you know, it's been kind of a free, if that makes sense, kind of a guy who feels kind of free and a guy who's kind of doing this, you know, kind of like I said, without any expectations or with nothing to lose. And he kind of comes off as the way that he is saying that he's approaching it, I think.
And to speak to that, and people in the comments are talking about Grady and what the White Sox in the 3 games that he has managed, how they've looked. And as Sean said, it could be a dead cat bounce. It could just be, you know, the result of today. You've been there all 3 games. Is there a tangible difference in a clubhouse that you've seen from the 3 games Grady's managed from all the games you've been with Pedro this year?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think at the end of the day, I'd probably say yes. just because I think the one comment that kind of stuck out to me was it feels like a fresh start. So maybe it's not even so much the difference in people that more than it just is a difference, right? And like the idea that just any change was made kind of, I don't want to say woke them up, but allowed them to kind of start over again in a way. Obviously, the record doesn't change or anything like that, but the crowd over the weekend, I think, had a big effect on them. Certainly Friday night when they scored a bunch of runs against the Cubs and hung right with them in a game that they did end up losing. And then tonight, I mean, that's the best offensive night they've had all year, and it probably will be the best offensive night they have all year if the trends continue. But listen, I think that these guys do really respect Grady Sizemore, and again, that's not saying that they didn't respect the other guy, but I think that they like, hey, it's a young guy who's not far removed from playing. Who we even had a comment, from someone I'm not quite sure who. Oh, it might have been Andrew Vaughn, I think, on Friday, in which he referred to Grady as us. You know what I mean? He referred to him as like, oh, he's the one of us that has the most experience, kind of thing. It maybe not that separation that you normally have with young players and older coaches. They kind of see him as one of them, a guy who played relatively recently to their own playing days. And so I think they see in him a former player and a former player who had a lot of success, something that they really respect and look up to, and maybe they do feel a little bit different energy and different vibe in there from making the move from Pedro.
Yeah, Clark makes a fair point that Pedro would make anyone look good, but I don't know. It does feel youthful from Grady. It does feel he feels with it in a way. Do you think that what we've seen so far in the past 3 games, maybe it's too much of a small sample size to judge, but we've heard even going back to spring training that the clubhouse has been fixed. Do you think that when Grady's saying, I love the energy, this kind of proves that the clubhouse is in a better spot, but if they do have a little bit of more maybe attention on them because Pedro's being removed and maybe a new voice and they're trying to prove things, like, do you think that improved clubhouse is showing with the increased energy levels?
I think when the improved clubhouse showed the most was earlier in the year, and even recently when they were losing all the time. And I mean, and they still are, let's be honest, but when they were losing all the time and it wasn't seeming to get to them. Now, I think you did hear people come back from Oakland on, when we talked to them on Friday, and talking about that losing streak, talking about the amount of losses and the way they've played since the All-Star break. And they said that it sucked and it was miserable and it got to guys and that kind of thing. But that's really the first we've heard all year in a year of play like that, in which they've said anything like that. So I think this clubhouse from the get-go was built to withstand, not even withstand, built to handle this sort of result in a way that others that this team had previously was not. Now, the last couple days, we've heard a lot of playing with energy, playing with a little bit more intent, but maybe that happens when you say, oh boy, we've played in a way that just got our manager fired, and so maybe it's the action of the change more so than the specific change from person A to person B. Now, I do think, though, that they want to play for Grady. I think they talked Friday about wanting to win that game for him. So I think they picked the right guy in that regard, right? The clubhouse does seem to like him and have respect for him and want to win for him. And again, that's not a comment on the last guy, but it's noticeable here in it, like you alluded to, a very small sample size. But I think the clubhouse probably has been this way for most of the year, but you are seeing a little bit difference in energy the last few days just because it was needed maybe.
And Vinny, just to catch people up who might have missed your coverage over the weekend, Chris Getz and Grady Sizemore spoke on Friday. What did Chris say about if this is an audition for Grady Sizemore, can he, with a good performance, retain this job?
I think that mostly goes back to what Chris said on Thursday when he addressed firing Pedro and starting a new manager search. And I think that the quick answer and the obvious answer would be Grady Sizemore will probably not be the manager next year. He's probably not going to be the guy that gets picked. And to be fair, maybe that has something to do with what I was talking about, right? And playing with nothing to lose and him kind of realizing, okay, I'm not playing for it, or I'm not managing for a job. I'm just managing because that's what's going on right now. It sounds very much like Chris wants to hire somebody from outside the organization, someone with, I don't want to say managerial experience, but coaching experience in a way that Grady Sizemore only has a very small amount of, right? This is his first year as a major league coach. So I think the easy answer is no. I don't think Grady Sizemore is auditioning for the White Sox. That being said, stranger things have happened, right? And I don't think that you can completely say with 100% certainty that it's impossible for him to do something to change minds. I think one thing that Chris said on Thursday over and over again was that they are going to be open-minded. And so if they get a response that is different from what they expected or so overwhelmingly positive from this group of players that they feel like rolling those dice and seeing what Grady can do with a little bit more expectation, maybe that happens. But again, we're on game 3. And there's a whole month and a half left to play, and we'll see how things go. Remember, they're looking to work on development here over the next month and a half, and I'm not sure, how they're grading that necessarily from this current major league staff, but we'll see what happens.
No. It's not game 3. I was called a buzzkill. No. Grady Sizemore is the next Eddie Stanky. Is it?
Casey Stengel.
Casey Stengel.
Eddie Stanky works.
Eddie Stanky works. All right. And maybe it's on an audition for Grady Sizemore. Maybe it's a campaign. So go right in this November, Grady Sizemore at your ballot box. Maybe.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's irresponsible.
Okay. Well, hey, I didn't say for what election.
Correct.
Maybe it's one that a guy's going to win in a landslide. Maybe it's an uncontested one. We're going to take a break. Herb, Lawrence, why don't you let people know about the lovely, lovely company of Leinenkugel?
When the weather gets warm, just any beer won't do. You want something refreshing, light, and flavorful. Leinenkugel has flavor for every summer moment. It's the perfect companion for great outdoors, the great American pastime, and a great night out with friends. Whether you go to the ballpark, you're going to be grabbing yourself some summer shandy. The other day when we did the takeover on Friday, grabbed a couple summer shandies, and it was delicious, of course. But if you want a beer that's similar to summer shandy with the light lemon flavor and the beer, you can try the Lakeside Cherry that has real cherry juice, or grapefruit shandy with natural white grapefruit, or the beer I'm trying right now, a Juicy Peach. Guess what it has in it, Sean?
Beer.
And natural peach flavor.
Wow.
Or you could try the Honey Light Lemonade with 99 calories with a sweet finish, plus classic crowd-pleasing beers like Liney's Original, like our guy Mailman Jack, or Liney's Light. Flavor every summer moment with Leinenkugels, the official craft beer of the Chicago White Sox. Go to Liney.com/CHGO to find delivery options near you. That's LEINIE.com/CHGO. Or pick up Leinenkugels pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Leinenkugels, flavor of the moment. Celebrate responsibly. The Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls.
Yes.
You all right over there?
Yeah.
Sarah?
I got too excited.
Rushing to get to the microphone. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. They are here to elevate your summer. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, whether you want an indica, a sativa, a hybrid, maybe an indica hybrid, maybe a sativa hybrid. I don't know. And you could choose with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. And wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. So stop into the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff or select from quality lines like Cresco or Floracal. And here for the summer is Good News' Tea Time disposable vape, bringing a classic lemonade flavor that is perfect for the golf course because we are not on the PGA Tour. We're just having a good time. And we're going to go pick up some Simply Herb because he's Simply Herb. And you can too by visiting sunnyside.shop for Bright Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify for 50% off your first 3 online purchases at sunnyside.shop. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright Buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. We will go back out to Guaranteed Rate Field in just a second, but Vinny filmed the post-game session with Gavin Sheets. So here is Gavin Sheets after his 3-double day.
I want to commit guys to did you think of Grady?
Oh man, it was awesome. Obviously, all weekend we wanted to beat the Cubs for him, and but you could feel it coming. You could feel the energy. You could feel the excitement. I thought we were playing really good baseball over the weekend. They were great games, and yeah, you could just obviously going against Gil. He's got great stuff, and I thought Kai competed his butt off tonight and got out of some huge situations. So that was an awesome night all around.
What were the feelings like that first 3 innings where you were busy talking to people over first base because they had bases loaded? I think 3 of the first 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing it again tomorrow. Getting base loaded for judging those guys, but no, props to him. He held it down. He made some great pitches in big spots, and we kept it close. And then we scored some runs against a really good pitcher. So, that was just both sides of the ball did their jobs tonight, which was a lot of fun.
You haven't had a lot of nights like this offensively this year. What went right tonight?
I think we had a really good game plan. I think we stuck to it, and we fed off each other. Obviously hitting's contagious. We talked about that all year, and high energy, and we wanted to get big hits for each other, and we were able to do that for the first time in a while. And I think Friday night was a big step forward too. We had a lot of big moments like that as well, and tonight just kind of broke out, which felt really good.
Where would you rate the celebration on a 1 to 10 scale?
Getting Grady in the shower and then pouring the drinks on him, that was a lot of fun. We've been waiting for it, and getting to do that, and we could feel his excitement and all of our excitement. So that was a lot of fun. It was up there.
How many different substances were you using that?
everything from cereal to ketchup to baby powder. So he's probably taken 3 showers tonight, but I think he enjoyed every second of it.
What's the difference in feeling been just the last 3 games?
It's been a lot of energy, a lot of positive vibes, and I think that everybody can see it. Everybody can see the dugout. Everybody can see just the way the guys are rallying around each other, and hopefully this is what the fans deserve. This is what we want to give them. We want to give them a good brand of baseball, a high energy brand of baseball. We can't promise wins and losses every night, but hopefully we can bring it every night, bring the energy, and play good baseball for them.
Hey, I'm cool with high energy baseball. We got a fun, bad baseball game tonight. The White Sox were not supposed to win this game. They weren't supposed to be competitive. They went out, scored 12, won by 10. I'm not complaining. Very excited. But again, is it really just about turning a new page here, Vin? Like, it's not even about Pedro going out and Grady's specific presence, but maybe just the idea that, hey, that's in the past, and all of the past failures can be put behind us because Grady's 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little. I mean, as you alluded to there, let's not go nuts. This team might have scored 12 runs today, but they walked 11 guys. They committed 2 errors. This was not, the White Sox suddenly playing like a World Series contender or anything like that. But everything's relative, right? And so, yeah, I think when you look at the last few days, it is more positivity and it is more energy. But I do think, as I said earlier, it probably comes from them seeing just an opportunity to start anew, right? It wasn't about getting rid of any specific part of what happened before or bringing in a specific part in Grady to come in again here, but you get a chance to kind of hit a line of demarcation, right? And be able to say, all right, next month and a half, man, we really screwed that up the last 3.5 months. The next month and a half, let's go ahead and do things a little bit better, and maybe approach things a little bit different than we did before. And I'm going to be honest. I don't think you can discount the idea that having some people in the ballpark and having some energy in the ballpark outside the lines in the last 3 games had something to do with it. Obviously, a much smaller crowd today on a Monday night than you saw for the 2 crosstown games, but those were a pair of sellouts, and the White Sox have not had that kind of energy in the ballpark a lot this year. A lot of it is the fault of the way they've played in these games, right? And so playing better and having some more energy from the crowd, it's a chicken or egg type thing, I suppose. But I think they've talked about it a lot, so that's why I bring it up. Tonight you had a lot of Yankee fans in here making noise, and maybe there was something to trying to quiet that in your own ballpark.
I've been conditioned from this season to look for the other shoe to drop. When the White Sox got that lead earlier, I was like, all right, this is good. Enjoy it. I hope you like it, White Sox. And then when Kai Busch left the game and they brought in Touki Toussaint, I couldn't help but say, man, they're going to crush Touki Toussaint. But no, Touki Toussaint's last 2 outings, one versus the Cubs where he came in and gave some relief for Garrett Crochet, flawless in that outing. And today, another inning and a third where he was flawless. I think his last 2 starts or relief appearances, 4 2/3 with 7 Ks and no earned runs. Just like now the bullpens actually get into the flow. If we can get everything and all the cylinders going, like I don't necessarily need them to be at the top of the league, but you could see some of the things that the White Sox have struggled with, and usually they would falter with the offense, the defense, which still was bad today, and then the bullpen. They've actually improved a little bit in the 3 games that we've had. I know Grady, who you talked to him right there, he didn't talk about it, but it looks like Touki Toussaint is looking a little bit better than he was earlier in the year. His first couple starts, he was just really bad.
Herb is cherry picking Touki because this pitching staff walked 11 guys tonight, but that's all right, Herb. You're looking on the bright side. You're Herbie Sunshine, I know.
Damn right. Today.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, like I hear your point.
You don't like Touki Toussaint tonight?
I love Touki Toussaint. Do not make this a me versus Touki thing. I would love to make a Touki Tuesday shirt, Touki for Tuesday or whatever. You know, we'll play on the old 97.9 The Drive, whatever. But I don't know. Like their bullpens consisted of Chad Kuhl and
he's been all right.
Touki Toussaint.
Chad
like
Kuhl's
this is
been
not
pretty decent, man.
Hear what you're saying out loud.
He's been decent. That's what
When are the wheels falling off?
Eventually.
My 1988 Chevy. What's a bad Chevy? You're old. Chevy LeBaron. My Chevy LeBaron. The wheels are falling.
That's a
Chrysler
Chrysler,
LeBaron. Thank you.
You can go Yugo.
Huh?
A car named Yugo.
Yugo?
Yeah, which is a really bad car.
Okay. Well, so yeah,
It's from the former Yugoslavia. That's why
makes
it's called
sense. Yeah. Well, I learned what Lexus is called for. It's Toyota's luxury brand. It's luxury export to the U.S. Lexus.
There you go.
There you go. Does Kai Bush's name stand for anything besides Kyler?
I don't know.
Okay.
He's the best Utah pitcher that pitched today.
That is true. Not the best Utah pitcher on the White Sox this year, though, because Tanner Banks is now in Philadelphia lighting it up. Did Kyler speak after today's game? He's walked 7, also the intentional walk to Aaron Judge. I mean, how does a guy react after, escaping 4 different spouts of danger?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can look at it one of two ways, right? You can look at like you always say, you can look at the process or you can look at the results. And I think Kai Bush chose to look at the results tonight and saw that he was able to get himself out of some of those jams, get the pop-ups when he needed to get the pop-ups and get the outs when he needed to get the outs. I can't imagine he'll be happy with the process because it was pretty ugly. There were a lot of guys on base in those first few innings. But at the end of the day, the number in the run column for the team that he was facing was small. And I think that he will be happy about that. Maybe not happy about everything, but he'll be happy about that.
And another thing, today, when you look at that lineup, and I looked at it, and I was like, this is the worst lineup I've ever seen. And that is probably because Luis Robert Jr. wasn't even in it, even though he is struggling as of late. What was Grady Sizemore's rationale into giving him an extra day off? I
mean, kind of the same thing we've heard from plenty of White Sox managers before, at least I have from them in these situations. But the idea of just giving, a day off after an off day gives you 2 days off, right? And it gives you a little bit more rest. In the case of Luis Robert Jr., it's maybe a mental rest, right? A mental break to try to reset a little bit. And we heard Ricky Renneria say this all the time when guys were slumping. Let them watch the game and not have the pressure of having to go out there and perform, and that's exactly what Grady Sizemore said today. And so maybe you're hearing from a former player, a guy who could see the need for that kind of thing back in his day, now kind of applying it to a guy who is a top of the league player when all things are right in Luis Robert Jr., but very much not that at the moment. So that was the explanation, and we'll see, I guess, starting tomorrow how much positive effect it ended up having.
I think logically it could make sense too, because, hey, I mean, you're on the bench and you're watching this team with a ton of energy put up 12 runs. It probably takes a little bit of weight off the star's shoulder. Like, hey, Gavin's going to hit 55 doubles behind me this year, and Andrew Vaughn's going to have a 57-game hitting streak.
And Andrew Benintendi is a different damn player now.
Right. I mean, I've heard some people calling him the new Nick Markakis. I've heard some people saying that. But yeah, I think
the lowest ceiling of all time.
That man was an all-star.
He was a good player, but like he's bumping against Nick Markakis.
Go look at Nick Markakis's like counting stats. That man played 162 every year for like 50 years and was just throwing MFers out from right.
The only thing I remember from, well, a lot of his career was good, but the White Sox played the Baltimore Orioles one time, and somebody had a home run that was in right field, and Hawk would say, "The Greek looks up, gone."
Yes.
And he's like, "I can say that. My wife is Greek." Mercy.
I forgot where we got or how we got here.
About Luis Robert Jr.
And right, yeah, but hopefully we can see that bounce back from Luis tomorrow. I bet the Yankees will likely be prompt and ready to prove what happened today was a fluke, but hopefully Luis can bounce back with a clear mind. And I really did like his answer, Grady's answer from Saturday, where it seems like he wasn't criticizing Luis. He wasn't really, saying everything's fine. It's currently something he's going through. This is what baseball players do. And it seems just because he's been there before, there was such a rationale and a level of steadiness that it didn't scare me from the outside, because I can look at his numbers and be like, he's whiffing a little bit more, but he's still contacting the ball hard. And people from the outside that are like, oh, he's, washed up. It's like, let's see what he looks like when the confidence is back, especially the way that he's playing defense and stolen bases. So I'm excited to see how Luis bounces back tomorrow. One thing I want to chat about with you guys, and this was thrown out during the broadcast. No, actually, I'll save it.
Ooh, teaser for tomorrow?
A teaser for later.
Okay.
There is a conversation, though, that I think we could have. The 120 loss thing was approaching on us. They lost 21 games, 14 games, 3-22, et cetera, et cetera. 1-2 in Sizemore. It's obviously been a 3-game span, but is this a move that could possibly keep them away from that record? Because now if they're treading water and they're like, 5 games under 500 under Sizemore, like that would not get them to the 120 losses. Like if they can just play like a little below average baseball, which I don't think is crazy for a month and a half, like they might not be the worst team in baseball of all time, which I'll accept.
Yeah. I want the White Sox to be as good as they can be, but also I don't want the results of these games to influence the actual hiring of the next manager, if that makes sense. Like, I enjoy what Grady's done in the first 3 games, but I don't think ultimately right now, 3 games in, that he would be the guy I would choose after an exhaustive search. Now, if they do that and they find that Grady and what he's done and the players like him and they reacted to him and he's good for the team in the future, I would reluctantly say, yeah, I'm good for that. But I would love for, after the season, no matter what Grady ends up with the record, they say, hey, Grady, you get an interview, but this job's not promised to you. We're gonna talk to everybody, and at the end of the day, if you are the best, we'll hire you. And I just hope that the results of this, which I fear that the results of his stead might, and I put a like an asterisk by that, might influence people who are hiring the next manager.
Well, Herb, that logic, though, implies that they're going to do well from a win-loss standpoint under Grady Sizemore, yes. And I don't think we've seen anything yet to indicate that they will. I mean, they've got to win, 14 more games in their last, I think it's 42, to match. Is it to match or to avoid?
To avoid it.
The record. They have not played that kind of baseball this year, and they certainly since the All-Star break, they have not. I mean, this is a team, like I mentioned earlier, that even though the last 3 games have been maybe noticeably different from an energy standpoint, they have not really been that noticeably different from a play standpoint. Obviously, tonight, the big offensive number. Fridays was pretty big for what they've done too, but come on, they're still fielding poorly. Walked all those guys today. Saturday, they only scored 1 run. So this is not necessarily showing me that all of a sudden the White Sox are a different team. Now, they start playing like this for another week. They go on they play the series against the Yankees. They go on the road for a couple. If against certainly a very good Astros team. If they start playing like this for a while, then we can talk. But certainly as of right now, I don't know if they're good enough to win 14 games over the next 42. We'll see. But as of right now, the funk that they've been in since right before the All-Star break to now has been pretty dramatic, and this is a team that has not been able to. I mean, they don't even have 30 wins yet right now. They played 120 games. They don't have 30 wins yet.
Can I bless Merck or Dale Van Schouwen? Who was it? Sneezing in there.
It might not even have been a beat writer. Could have just been somebody cleaning up the room. And hey, I do have one question before I get into the thing that I teased. Over the past 15 games, Andrew Benintendi has 17 hits, a batting average over 300. Does his shoulders and biceps fit into the door at this point? Is he larger over the past 2 weeks? Any noticeably larger over the past 2 weeks?
No, I think he's just on a nice streak here. He's on a heater. And listen, if again, we're going to find out what the next month and a half looks like, and that includes for him. He's a guy that's more than likely not going anywhere between the salary and the amount of production to this point. But if he can put some weeks together, a couple months together of the kind of thing that the White Sox thought they were going to get from him when they gave him that contract, then that maybe makes the conversation a little bit more interesting for the offseason. But with 3 years of control left and that salary for what he's been able to do so far, I would imagine he will remain a White Sox by opening day of next year.
What did I miss? Are you just laughing at my idea to trade him?
Yes, I'm saying, well, the Yankees saw him today. They're like, oh, man, 2 for 5?
Hey.
That double? It's like, our guy Stanton only at 1 for 5.
I saw
straight-up trade.
Stanton can't play the outfield. Verdugo can't catch a ball diving in the outfield. Verdugo's a free agent after the year. I'm just saying, if you're going to be spending $300 million on Soto, or leaving $16 million from Stanton's contract by trading for Benintendi isn't a bad idea. All right. The final thing that I want to throw out there, and make sure you're hitting the thumbs up button if you haven't already. We got about 80 people watching, 43 thumbs up. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button too. You could become a diehard today at allchgo.com/diehard if you haven't. You can join the diehard Discord, chat with diehards alike. They were very, very pumped over today's game, but we also have some exclusive content, especially from Bears training camp as that currently goes on over at allchgo.com. Vinny has the White Sox weekly newsletter that comes out every Monday as well, so it is a great time. You also get 20% off merch and events, so head over to allchgo.com/diehard if you haven't yet. John Strickland said this. I'm not trying to be critical here.
Okay.
I'm trying to have a discussion. I'm trying to think if this is just nice PR spin from a team that, as Vinny said, it's just a fact, have not won 30 games in 2024. John Triffin said, good crowd for a Monday night. And this was in reference to, I think, like around the first or second inning before the White Sox were really taking advantage of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was about the size of the people in the crowd. It seemed like a pretty decent crowd. I asked you the paid attendance, 22,000, what was it? 22,815. So if you look at this, and Sarah, feel free to flash this. This is every White Sox and Yankee game on a Monday night since Comiskey 2 opened. It is the 14th highest attended game out of the 18 since 1991, and that park opened. And there have been 4 games with lower than 22,500 people in attendance. April 21st, 1997, May 25th, 1998, June 26th, 2017, and August 6th, 2018. This one was a little bit over 22,500, but still, the 5 lowest attended games are unsurprisingly the worst attended White Sox seasons. And I think that's just the point that I was trying to make, is that you can just see that this is a very unique year. They play the Yankees all the time. This is one of their premier series. And I understand that 22,000 is a lot for the 2024 White Sox. This is the highest attendance on a Monday night outside of when they played the Dodgers back in June. But outside of that,
when we were there,
their Monday night attendance has not gone over 15,000 for a single game. And I think, like, you can say, oh, nice crowd for a Monday, but like part of me just takes that and it's just like, it could be so much better. And part of it, you can't give credit to the crowd and the sales staff for selling 22,000 tickets, because those immediately fly off the shelves because it's the Yankees in town. You have the premier brand in baseball in your town with Juan Soto Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, even Jazz Chisholm, who's getting overrated chance. Like, you should be able to sell 25,000 seats, and they can't. And I think it's just pathetic, the state that they are in. And I think it's, with all the good that we've been talking about for 50 minutes, I don't know. It's not a good crowd for a Monday. It could be a lot better, and I don't know. I didn't love that comment.
And remember what I was talking about earlier in the year, the White Sox are on the precipice of fans being angry and then apathetic. If you get past angry and get to apathy, you're in trouble. And that's what it looked like today. And they should be. I mean, the White Sox set a record for most consecutive losses in the American League. They're just firing their manager. Yes, the Yankees are a draw, but who is a White Sox fan excited about the Yankees anymore? You know what I mean? Like, that's old school. Like, I'm excited when the Yankees come in town because I remember the White Sox-Yankees type of thing. And when they do come in town, it's kind of Cubs-Sox, Cubs-Yankees. Those games I try to avoid because they're always fights. People are always talking smack, and it's always filled up with people. The energy is always good there, too. So, yeah, I think that White Sox are on that precipice where fans are like, yeah, I'm pissed. But if you fall a little too much more, you get to apathy. That's why it's under 25,000 today. And so I hope today's energizing victory brings a couple more people. It's like, you know what? I love the ballpark. I love the atmosphere. I love going to White Sox-Yankees games. And so Tuesday and Wednesday's contests are a little bit better attended and the energy stays there. But, yeah, they're right there where fans won't be doing this next year and then subsequent years. And then you'll just have a whole generation of White Sox fans you missed just because the baseball is so bad.
Yeah, I mean, they've been awful, I would imagine, from spending my life around the White Sox and White Sox fans, even back before I had this job. It always seemed that they had to do something extraordinary to get a ridiculous number of people in the seats, right? I mean, it took them winning the World Series to really jack those attendance numbers up in the year that followed. And obviously, it's been many years since they did something that impressive. So it shouldn't be surprising this year. They are on pace to be one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in modern baseball history. I don't think there's much, I don't think a lot of fans are seeing much reason to come out to the ballpark. But I will say this to what John apparently said on the broadcast. John has only been here for this year. So in his experience as being around the White Sox, this was a good crowd for a Monday. And as I tell people all the time, because of the way the team has performed for the most part over the last decade or so that I've been covering them, the day of the week really seems to have the most impact on when people come out. You see nice crowds on the weekend, and you see very small crowds during the week. I get what you're saying in terms of the Yankees being here. You'd think that would draw more people, and guess what? It did, because if they were playing the Yankees, it would have been a lot smaller than it was today.
I know, but this is the second worst drawn August game, Yankee August game on a Monday. The only other one is 2018. I mean, 2012 did better, 2023 did better, 1996 did better, 1992 did better, 1993 did better.
Sean, they're going to lose 120 games. What do you expect?
I understand, but I'm just saying, like, John Triffin, who's only been here for a year and doesn't have that many connections, and his Chicago connections are limited to the people that work for the organization. Of course, we're going to hear a positive PR spin about great crowd on a Monday. It's not. It's a sad and pathetic state of your organization. I'm glad that they won 12-2, and I understand why Joe's saying I have the case of the Mondays.
There he is.
Why am I complaining? But I do not like, and I have not liked, people who, without any thought process, defend their employer or their job spot. And I get it, like, anyone would be lucky to have that job, but it doesn't seem like there's any critical thinking, and it just seems like he's just spewing crap.
Amen.
It seems like White Sox positive PR crap that's spewed out of his mouth. That's all I'm saying, and I obviously have a bigger issue with that than most people, so you can ignore me.
It's Shawnee Showers. But
Garfield over there.
Yeah, I get it, Sean, and I don't necessarily like his thing, but I think I'm used to the Jerry Reinsdorf own teams spin. And so You've heard Pedro say right before he got fired, Jerry wants to win, and, unnecessary things like that, pumping up Jerry. And maybe that gives you that extra edge to keep around, keep your job. I mean, all these people want to keep their jobs. So I'm sure that John Triffin, who works for NBC Sports Chicago and the White Sox, wants to keep his job. And so any positivity he can offer that doesn't seem contrived to the general public, not Shawnee Showers over there.
Right. There you go.
He'll probably try to pigeonhole that in. And so, yeah, I got it. I mean, I'm over the John Triffin thing myself, but what's he going to do? He's always going to pump up the White Sox, no matter if it's a polishing a turd.
This is less about John and just more about the White Sox pushing out positive PR. If you're going to push out positive PR, I thankfully have a microphone and I could scream as loud as I want.
They should do more campfire milkshake stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
History!
Perfect. We're going to end it there. Sorry if this was a stinker of an ending. But
hey, you hung around this long.
I didn't get my lasagna today, all right? That's Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. You can follow him at Vinnie Duber and read his work at allchgo.com. That's Herb Lawrence, our CHGO White Sox community leader. I'm Sean Anderson. And thank you to Sarah Fichter for producing the show today. Hit that thumbs up button, and we'll be back tomorrow when the White Sox win 24-4. Herb didn't say anything. 24-4. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.